Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. Today we have the CRKT Jettison. Now this is the second knife that was provided by support of the channel. So thank you Victor for sending this in and giving me the opportunity to customize it. The last blade I customized for Victor was the Razzle. So if you guys haven't seen that video, I'll post it up in the link up here in the corner. This is a Robert Carter design. This blade comes with a 8CR 13 MOV blade. It's a modified sheep's foot with a nice little wedge up here that comes to a pretty high point. It's riding on nylon washers. This is a frame lock style blade. It's got a flipper tab for deployment, which is really smooth. Stainless steel scales, as you guys can see here, with an awesome stone wash on it. And this blade has a deep carry pocket clip. These screws aren't recessed, but I've never really had an issue with it. So the changes I'll be doing to this blade is a brass backspacer. I will be adding some scalloped texture to the scales themselves. And then I will give the whole blade an edge on the blade and the scales, and then create some satin features on the scales and the blade. And then I will be creating some jimping here on top, because when handling this blade it's very slick. It's got a slipperiness to it, so it's definitely going to need some jimping. So we'll take this thing apart. It has a T8 size bit for the pivot, and then the rest of the hardware is going to be T6. Alright, so here it is all taken apart, and as you guys can see, it's a very simply designed blade. Not too much going on. So now that it's taken apart, let's get to customizing it. Alright everybody, here it is all customized and finished, ready to be put together. So as you guys saw in the last part of the video, I heat anodized the hardware. So there it is. It does have that brass look to it, so super happy with that. Since I have the backspacer in my hand, we can take a look at it. And as you guys saw from the video, there's a pretty obvious theme going on here, and that's the scalloped texture on almost everything. This wasn't really necessary, but the customer didn't even ask for a custom pocket clip, but I couldn't give him back the knife without making a custom clip, because I think it just needed it, like badly. So all I did was make a custom pocket clip. So again, it's scalloped. I left it smooth on the bottom. There's one pressure point, and it's on the left side of the frame lock, sorry. That way when you're holding the knife, you're not actually putting pressure on the frame lock itself, which we all know what happens when you do that. It won't flick out as easy. So I kept that in mind, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I basically copied the shape just like the scale. So it just has a good flow to it. Again, it needed a custom pocket clip. I couldn't go back to the basic pocket clip, which is this one here. I did etch it and stonewash it, just in case he does want to go back to the original. He does have the option. Now the scales, I really liked them before I etched them, but I do like them like this too. And as you guys saw, I used 1000 grit to get those high points a nice little polish there. So it just gives it a bit of a contrast, a really nice contrast, I think. And then for the blade itself, I also put the scallop texture on the top. I did some deeper jimping, and then I did the scalloped on the tip of the blade as well. And then where the flipper tab is. So underneath, and then where your finger goes when it's closed. I guess enough talking about it, let's just put it together and see what it looks like. Alright, well here it is all put together, and I am super happy with the outcome. I'm surprised how well the heat anodized hardware came out. Looks really good against the dark scales. And that pocket clip, like I said before, I think it was necessary. I couldn't put the original on. It definitely needed a custom brass pocket clip. The flipper tab here is nicely scalloped. I'm sure Victor is going to be very happy when he gets this blade. So again, let me know what you guys think down below. And it still flips out really well, and it has a nice drop shut action. Really happy with the blade itself too, with the satin finish against the stone wash there. Now Victor did like my CRKT peeler, and this is kind of what it's based off of, this design. So I'll leave a link up in the corner, that way you guys can check it out if you guys haven't seen it already. Give it a nice brand new sharpen there. Definitely gonna cut. And now that I put the jimping and just a little bit more texture, well, a lot more texture, this thing isn't gonna go anywhere in your hand, so you really get a good purchase with that jimping. I was also going to mention for the pocket clip, unfortunately the new clip won't allow it to be deep carry, but I don't think that even matters. So I'm not too crazy on deep carry. Just as long as there's a pocket clip, I'm happy. But I do have a pair of pants here, so we can see exactly what will be popping out, and I think I think this is going to be just fine. So that's what you're going to be seeing when the blade is in the pocket. So, not too big of a deal that the pocket clip went from deep carry to just a basic one. And like I said before, I did make it, I'm glad the shape of the blade is like this, wider at the end. That way, again, when you're deploying the blade, you're actually putting pressure on the pocket clip and making it a lot easier to flick it out. So it's got a purpose and it looks really good. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.